Group comes your eyewitness weather forecast.
Welcome back. You'll need the umbrella if you're heading out tonight. The good news is we're talking just rain. There are a few areas that still have a bit of lingering sleet and freezing rain, but they're very isolated in pockets. For the most part, this is just regular old rain as we look downtown tonight along the arterial. Steady rain continues to fall here downtown. Now, we will start to see a reduction as we go into later tonight. A temperature of 35. That number is not going anywhere tonight, so we're going to kind of hang in the mid-30s. Here's what to expect. Steadier rain this evening and into the overnight hours before tapering and becoming lighter later. Up to a half an inch of rain is likely out of this system. And in terms of any flooding, yeah, some of the smaller creeks and streams will come up to bankful, but I don't foresee any major flooding problems. And then most of the day tomorrow, it's just kind of dismal and dark and dank and drab with cloudy skies, just some drizzle, before yet another round of rain arrives tomorrow night into Friday morning. The other thing we need to watch out for, areas of dense fog developing through the evening, especially in the higher elevations and the hills. That is what you see here. This is a special weather statement. It's not an advisory of any type, but it's just mindful of the fact that some areas are going to have some pretty thick fog developing as we go into the evening. And I mentioned a few suspect areas that still have a winter weather advisory. Up north, that's where we still have some lingering light freezing rain. Temperatures in the mid-30s, pretty uniform regulating effect of the clouds and the wet weather, 38 down towards Cooperstown, and in the low 30s up into the Adirondacks. So for the most part, this is just rain coming through, but again, a few areas, some of the higher elevations of the Mohawk Valley along Route 80, have a little bit of isolated pockets of freezing rain, and then you get along 8 up into Hamilton County in the Adirondacks. That's where it's still a little icy tonight. So there's the wet weather coming in tonight. We do start to see it break up a little bit as we go towards later tonight, but check this out. This is kind of like this corridor right here. It's pointed right towards us. So we see another round developing that will arrive by late tomorrow. So there goes the rain tonight, steadiest through the evening and then tapering. And then notice through the day tomorrow, a lot of cloudy sky, just some drizzle. Again, some areas of fog over the higher elevations. Then we get into tomorrow night, and we're going to watch another round of rain move in. That will spill over into Friday morning before tapering to just some sprinkles through the day on Friday. Sunshine will be at a premium. We don't expect much of any sunshine here as we go into the weekend. And I mentioned that the rainfall amounts will be fairly manageable. So anywhere from like a half an inch or so, a quarter inch down towards Shenango, Otsego County, 3/10 here in town. So manageable amounts, but yeah, if you live near a smaller creek or stream, you might see it come up a little bit. So I mentioned temperatures don't go anywhere tonight. Relatively mild for late January, with steady rain tapering to spotty sprinkles late. A few pockets of sleet and freezing rain to the north and northeast. Murky, mild tomorrow. Some areas of fog and drizzle, but I think most of the time it's mainly dry and a high of 44. Another round of rain Friday in the morning before tapering. 46, mostly cloudy and mainly dry as we go into Saturday. 41. And then Sunday, we've got a storm system that we're watching that will probably start as rain and then go to wet snow. And there probably is going to be some moderate accumulations, especially over the southern hills as we start to drag in some colder air into early next week. Temperatures may not get out of the 20s Monday and Tuesday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Craig.
You got it.
Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6.
Now, your eyewitness weather forecast.
It's still rainy out there. It will be through the overnight, but the steadiest of the rain will continue to taper. And then through the day tomorrow, just some drizzle, some areas of fog over the hilltops. But I think it's mainly dry otherwise. Temperature now of 36 degrees, so the numbers aren't going anywhere. So I think we're going to stop and hold strong right where we are at 36. So here's what to expect. Steadier rain through the rest of the overnight here. It will start to taper off, though. Just some sprinkles and drizzle, but up to a ½ inch will fall. And then another round of rain as we just kind of keep up with this beat here coming up tomorrow. Very similar to what we're dealing with tonight. So when you and I are together again tomorrow night this time, probably talking about the same thing. Very similar as another round of rain comes in. And again, watch out for some areas of dense fog. And speaking to that, we do have a dense fog advisory. That's all the gray that you see here. So Oneida County, Madison, down into Otsego. Visibilities will be reduced as we do have some thick fog forming. Up north, it is a winter weather advisory, still hanging on to some icy weather, but that's way up north in the high peaks. Wanted to show you temperatures now across the area. So in the mid-30s, like I said, nowhere to go in terms of these temperatures tonight. It's 40 right now in Cooperstown, so plenty warm enough for rain. And even up here in the Adirondacks, there will be some colder nooks and crannies that have some isolated pockets of freezing rain. Speaking of freezing rain, man, oh man, is it problematic tonight up in the St. Lawrence Seaway. First things first, for us locally, it's just wet. But let's go up north. Look at the past several hours. From Potsdam down to Governor, the St. Lawrence Seaway, northern parts of Jefferson County. This is freezing rain, and it's been going on for hours. So definitely problematic way up north. Here locally, like I said, we're just dealing with some rain, some steadier pockets of rain right around Marcy, and then light but steady rain here in downtown. And it's just this corridor of wet weather that continues to kind of lift its way to the north here, right up the Ohio Valley, the spine of the Appalachians, and kind of curling right around. For us here locally, we've got light but steady rain continuing. But like I said, this will taper to just some sprinkles by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. A lot of clouds around through the day. Some areas of drizzle. Watch for some patchy fog over higher elevations and over the hilltops. At least temperatures will be in the mid-40s, but it's just kind of murky. And then we go into tomorrow night. Once again, here we go, another round of rain moving in. And some of that rain could fall steady at times into Friday morning before tapering to sprinkles by the afternoon, still mild into Friday. How much are we talking? Again, fairly manageable. 2/10, 3/10, maybe up to a ½ an inch in a few locales. So this is not going to be a huge, widespread, major flooding issue. But some, those smaller creeks and streams, those smaller tributaries might have a little bit of a rise as we head through the next couple of days. Relatively mild overnight with wet weather tapering. Temperatures go nowhere. 36, that's where we're at. That's where we'll stay. Tomorrow, murky, mild, areas of fog, some drizzle, and then another round of wet weather developing late and a high of 44. Wet weather tapers Friday, 46. A break Saturday, but still the same old gray, 41. Then another system Sunday spawns a coastal low. That's going to yank much colder air in through the day on Sunday. So mixer rain to a period of wet snow. Still a little too early for specific snow amounts, but I'd say at least a modest accumulation, the higher elevations, especially to the south, and then much colder as we go into early next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Craig. Still to come on Eyewitness News, a look at sports with me, Shelby Fay. It's going to be up next after the break.
Your Eyewitness Weather forecast.
Welcome back. Do you like a rainy night like Eddie Rabbit? We certainly have that ongoing out there. Steadiest of the rain, though, will slowly start to taper off to just some sprinkles. But the other concern that we have tonight, some patchy dense fog with the potential for reduced visibility. So I think that's going to be around into tomorrow morning. You can see downtown Visibility still okay, but some of the higher elevations, the hilltops, will have to deal with some of that patchy, dense fog into the day tomorrow. So the steadier rain continuing to move through, probably up to, well, most likely up to like a ½ an inch of rain. So that's like manageable, but you know, some of those smaller creeks and streams may rise a bit. And then we get into another round of rain coming up tomorrow, late in the day, and then into Friday morning. During the day, probably not much going on. Again, watch out for those areas of dense fog. And we actually have advisories posted for that potential tonight. So that's the gray color that you see here. Dense fog advisory for Oneida, Madison, and Otsego County. Up north, we're dealing with a little bit of wintry weather. So we still have winter weather advisories, a little bit of sleet and freezing rain way up in the high peaks, and also up near the St. Lawrence Seaway, really getting icy tonight. See that pink area right there along the St. Lawrence will be an issue. For us, just dealing with the rain. So we go out a little bit wider here, and we'll show you it's kind of this corridor of wet weather down from the Gulf all the way up through the Ohio Valley and then right over us. So we're going to be in this steady rain for a little while longer. Eventually it tapers off, and then through the day tomorrow, it's just clousy, drizzleable. All of those words are made up. But yeah, you get the picture. Just kind of murky, drab, dull, cloudy sky. At least temperatures will be in the 40s. There's that. Then we go into tomorrow night. Like I said, another round of rain rolls in to central New York. That's going to be around through Friday morning. In terms of how much, again, the amounts will be fairly manageable. So we're only talking like 1/4 to 2/10. A few areas may get upwards of a ½ an inch of snow. So widespread major flooding, not a concern, but those smaller tributaries, creeks and streams, you might see a little bit of a rise there. Temperatures tonight go absolutely nowhere as the steadiest of the rain tapers. Watch for some dense fog developing. Through the day tomorrow, it's just murky. It's mild, though. Areas of fog and drizzle taper, and then it's mainly dry before another round rain arrives by late in the day into tomorrow night and Friday morning. Rain tapers Friday. Still mild, mid-40s. Then we go into Saturday. Same old gray sky, but I think mainly dry. Watching an interesting system here Sunday. It will probably start as rain or mix, but then what happens is they're going to drag in colder air by late in the day Sunday. So this will probably change to a period of wet accumulating snow, at least a modest accumulation, especially higher elevations south on Sunday. We'll keep you posted. And then we start to get cold again into at least early next week. Before temperatures moderate somewhat by Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Craig. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 11, Governor Kathy Hochul spoke at